CommanderChris. There's a lot of news to cover today. First, sadly, Tim Patrick did tear his ACL yesterday. That's very sad news. Obviously, he was probably going to have a breakout year this year with Russell Wilson, his first good quarterback of his career. And then next we'll go with Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson this year, or today, sorry, just got a 2-year, $36.7 million extension from the Pittsburgh Steelers, $18.35 million a year, which makes him the 17th highest paid wide receiver in the league, which is just a absolute steal for Pittsburgh. Even though you'd think they'd be a little cautious on him since they just drafted George Pickens in the first or the second and drafted Calvin Austin in the third, two wide receivers who both have potential. But Nico, how do you feel about Deontay Johnson getting his extension?
I mean, he's obviously Deontay Johnson. He's a phenomenal wide receiver. Again, I really don't understand why Pittsburgh went and just drafted a ton of those wide receivers when they really literally have Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool. I don't know who else they have, but on his extension, I think that it was kind of a weird. He probably could have gotten way more if he would have maybe went out a little bit more instead of just, I guess, holding out for whatever he could get. I feel like that Pittsburgh really just threw out the weakest offer and he just took it because he probably was, I don't know if wasn't going to get anywhere else or whatnot. And I don't know. I don't think it was really a good offer, but I mean, at least they locked up Deontay Johnson.
So I will say that he just turned 26 last month. So when this contract's over, it's not that old, but once his contract's over, he will probably be in his prime. So that's a really good setup for him to get a massive contract because he'll probably be 28, 29 in his prime, getting his next contract. So I understand like a little short of a contract, but still you think the money would be higher. Okay. So next thing we're gonna go over is obviously we made a video 2 days ago about Deshaun Watson after he got 6 games, but there's an update. BrownsByJaykeb, do you want to inform us on the update of Deshaun Watson?
Well, Roger Goodell, fearing for his job, went ahead and the NFL as a company made a decision to appeal Sue Robinson's 6-game suspension. I wasn't surprised. I was just a little bit dumbfounded. I think this is a very bad move by the NFL because the NFLPA has been preparing a case for months. But honestly, there's so many things that the NFLPA has about owners. You know, we look at the Dan Snyder situation. We've got 2 guys familiar with that. Robert Kraft, Jerry Jones. A lot of things have been covered up by the NFL. And the NFLPA has that knowledge, and they can very easily put that out in federal court. So if they add any type of games to the suspension, Peter C. Harvey was just appointed to be the designee to make this final decision. And he's going to add games to it. He was a part of the Ezekiel Elliott situation where I believe he got an 8-game suspension for something way less serious than this. So it's definitely concerning for me, but I know the NFLPA is going to sue the NFL in federal court, and it could pause everything, and Deshaun Watson could be playing football week 1. It's not likely, but there's definitely a chance now, which is crazy.
So Nico, you've made a lot of faces. How do you feel about what Jacob just said? Because like obviously you seem very distraught by what Jacob just said.
I mean, it's.
Do you not understand what I mean?
I do, but you're like sitting here and you're saying, oh, like Zeke, what Zeke did wasn't as bad as what they did was bad. I mean, like you're not sitting here.
Well, what I mean by that is that there wasn't like any evidence for Zeke at all. There wasn't much, and a lot of people felt that he got a very harsh suspension for what happened.
I mean, okay, if we're realistically looking at it, but for Deshaun, I mean,
that was also a Goodell decision.
I really haven't kept up much with the Deshaun thing. I know it's like what 25, like in total, 24.
And it's.
I think 6 games was just the most sympathetic thing in the world. I think he's gonna get more games suspended.
Can you explain to the viewers why you think that there's a chance he could be playing week 1?
Well, the appeal process. So now there's an appeal in. So this 6-game suspension is out the window. It doesn't matter. So until the NFL makes a decision, Deshaun Watson can play football. So a federal court stuff, if legal things go down like that, it can pause it and push things throughout the season. So Deshaun there's a chance he could play week 1. I don't see it happening because I think the NFL is going to hurry this. But if they don't, the NFLPA kind of sues him unexpectedly. It could definitely create that window.
Yeah, I mean, it's unlikely. But you said yourself it's unlikely. I mean, it's not like you're saying he's going to play week 1. Nico is going. So I mean, it's unlikely, but I mean, it could. highly doubt it, but you know, you never know with this. I mean, it's kind of not similar, but Alvin Kamara was supposed to have a trial, then he got pushed back, and now he's not. He's going to play the season. So I mean, you never know. Okay, so we're going to move on. So where should we go now? Let's go to some QB controversies really quick, and not as much controversies, but some topics about kind of QB battles that I thought would maybe be a little more there. Okay, so first we're going to go to Atlanta. Now, Atlanta, day one, named Marcus Mariota their starter. And I thought that was a little interesting because I thought, you know, Mariota's not that good. As a Titans fan, he's not that good. So you'd think when they draft a third-round QB, there'd be some sort of competition there. I thought Mario was going to win the job, for sure. But I just thought it'd be like a late training camp, Mariota's our starter type move. But he started day one. So Jacob, do you think there's like, why was there no comp between Ritter? Because a lot of the word was Ritter was arguably, or at least the second most ready NFL quarterback coming out of the draft.
Yeah, well, the way I look at it, I think a lot more teams are starting to realize that it's very beneficial if a quarterback does not play their first year. We've seen it with Trey Lance and a lot of other guys, and I like this move by the Falcons. I think it's the right move. Ritter should sit because it gives him an opportunity to see the game from the sidelines, ingest the NFL game, and unexpectedly can break out in their second year. So I think that's the right decision. It doesn't surprise me by the Falcons. I think Mariota can be an average quarterback in the NFL. The Falcons, not a lot to look forward to right now. That defense is not many guys there. Just AJ Terrell and
I think the Falcons defense. I'll say the Falcons defense probably has a lot of not a lot of potential, but it has enough to it has potential. No, I'm saying the defense has potential. I mean, they have
wait, let me ask you, Nico. Can you name me more than 3 players on their defense?
Yes, I can.
Who?
And you do it without naming AJ Terrell, no. And Grady.
Because I think of Deion Jones. I think his name is. He's a pretty good linebacker.
He's a good linebacker.
Him, AJ, and Grady Jarrett. That's
didn't they get that edge at Penn State though? Arnold Ebike. Didn't they get him?
Yeah, I think so.
I did like him. Now he's not. It's not that he's a second.
I mean, okay.
edge.
Let me rephrase my statement. Their defense is, I guess, headed into the right direction for what they're in the stage.
No.
Right now.
Their pass rush is continuing.
Grady's old. Deion's old.
Yeah, I mean, Grady still has years left. AJ has years left. If Arnold Ebike is something decent, that he could be good. But I mean, okay, we're talking about QBs now, not defenses, Nico.
Yeah.
All right, that's gonna be on TikTok. Don't worry. Okay, so
what are you talking about?
The defense, whatever. All right, so now we're gonna move on to Carolina, who at first it's getting clearer now, right? But at first, that first week, it was pretty rough. So obviously they have Baker, who they brought in. They brought Sam in, and they brought Matt Corral in the third round as well. So Matt Corral's been apparently decent, but he's definitely the third there. And then Sam Darnold's apparently been playing really well at training camp. And Baker Mayfield started off slow, but has now started to do pretty decent at training camp. So we're not going to go to the Browns fan here. Nico.
Yeah.
Why is Baker and Sam so close?
Because they both suck. Like, realistically, if we're going to sit here and just straight up look at it, they both suck. Now, the only reason is I think Baker obviously is better than Sam Darnold. And the reason why, obviously, he probably started slow, it's a new system, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? I mean, he's taken a little bit to adjust and whatnot. I don't think that, and both of them will be, or any of those guys will be the quarterback. Maybe Matt Corral has the chance in 5 years. I don't think Baker will be there in 5 years. I don't think Darnold is going to be there for maybe 3 weeks into the season this year. They're all very mediocre. It's a really weird quarterback room. I'm expecting them to go quarterback next year in the draft, or next year, or whenever they decide to get over Cam Newton.
I don't think so.
You don't? What do you mean? You don't like? Okay, what do you mean by that?
I think they're gonna sit Corral and they're gonna let Baker play this year. I think what's gonna happen is they're gonna sit Baker this year, or they're gonna start Baker this year. They're gonna sit Corral. Next year in training camp, they're gonna decide whether they want to run with Baker or Corral. And then if
Baker's on the last year of his contract.
Okay, my bad. So they're next year they're gonna try out Corral, or it depends how Baker plays this year. I think they're gonna give Corral a shot. Is what I'm trying to say.
They're in a weird direction.
Corral's a project QB. So let's not act like Corral's gonna be like NFL ready year one. So I think they'll give him a shot. You draft him to give him a shot.
All of these quarterbacks just to go win 6 games.
Corral should be in the competition this year for how bad Darnold and them had been.
Yeah.
But
I think they just need to blow up that entire team. That entire team has no potential to do anything. It's bad.
Well, I disagree with that. They've got a
disagree.
very young and upcoming defense. You know,
I
you
agree.
guys got like J.C. Horn there.
Brian Burns.
Exactly, but like you're
I
letting
love Brian
stars like Baker Mayfield run your offense, dude. Might as well.
Listen, the offense is a couple pieces away. You get Ike Ekwonu in the draft. The offensive line is building up. You've got DJ Moore. Robbie Anderson can still be a good wide receiver in this league if he can kick it up a notch. And the way I look at the quarterbacks, Baker Mayfield, probably in a Matt Rule system, the best play you're going to get out of him is average play.
Yeah.
If you play him in a great system, he's going to give you good quarterback play. He's coming off a major shoulder injury last year, even though it's not non-throwing. So it didn't surprise me to see him struggle a little bit, but he's got a little sense of familiarity with Rashard Higgins there. I think Baker can lead this to a good offense, especially if CMC can stay healthy.
Yeah.
I just think the one issue here is Matt Rule and this coaching staff. Ben McAdoo didn't like Baker coming out of the draft years ago. It doesn't seem right. The chemistry doesn't seem right. Sam's a bad quarterback. And I never really liked Matt Corral out of the draft process. I still don't. I don't really think he's going to be good. If Baker can go out there and win them 7 or more games, then he would probably get re-signed, which in the NFC is possible. I mean, an under 500 team can make the playoffs this year in the NFC, to being realistic. So I don't think it's a far shot to see the Panthers playoffs.
What do you say, Chris?
Do you think that they can make it in the wild card under 500?
No.
No way.
No. They have to play. They have to go up against New Orleans. They have to go up against Tampa Bay. I mean, already New Orleans and Tampa are miles ahead of them, and that's even within their own division. And Chris is left momentarily, but he'll be back. The Saints and Tampa are miles ahead of them. Then you go outside of the. Okay.
All right, sorry guys, we had some technical difficulties with Chris leaving. We're gonna move on to our next quarterback controversy team though, which is Pittsburgh, which isn't really it is controversy. I'm tripping. So Pittsburgh has Mason Rudolph, the best player on that team, Mitchell Trubisky, and
I'm so sorry.
And Kenny Pickett. So they obviously drafted Kenny Pickett in the first last year, the highest drafted quarterback. They obviously signed Mitchell Trubisky in free agency, and then they have Mason Rudolph, who's been there for a few years. Myles Garrett knows him very well. So let's go. So Mason Rudolph so far, the first week was the best quarterback there. He was best quarterback there. Kenny Pickett's been decent his past few outings, and Mitchell Trubisky's just been kind of all right. But apparently, I read a report a few days ago that Mitchell Trubisky was told it's his job to lose, so right now he's technically the starter. So let's go, Jacob, your division rival. Who do you think will start week 1, and who do you think will end the season as Pittsburgh starter?
Well, I'm pretty sure Mitch is getting paid the most money. 9 out of 10 times in the NFL, the quarterback that's getting paid the more money is going to start, which is why I'm a little bit worried about the Baker and Sam stuff over there, because I'm pretty sure Sam's getting paid more. But yeah, I think Mitch is going to start, and he's probably going to be taken out when the Steelers start to realize they're about to have a losing season. I think Mike Tomlin is going to panic a little bit and scramble. I think we might see Mason Rudolph out there at some point. But the reality of it is Kenny Pickett needs to sit this year. I think he needs to not play. Like I said earlier, it's really beneficial when you're in a tough division too. Some really good secondaries like the Ravens, Browns, can't say Bengals, but I think it's got to be Mitch. I think it's got to be Mitch for at least half the season, and maybe go to Rudolph.
Okay.
Maybe Josh your quarterback.
Huh?
I said maybe they'll get Josh Dobbs to play quarterback too.
Hey,
man.
don't hate on Josh Dobbs. Don't hate on.
He's on the Browns. He's on the Browns.
Good.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He
So
should start
Josh
week
Rosen.
1.
Yeah, can't wait to see Josh Rosen start week 1 of the Cleveland Browns.
So let's move on to when we're talking about the Panthers, their division rival. Let's talk about the Saints and one particular person who's been making some waves at Saints camp, Mr. Trevor Penning himself. So Trevor Penning was drafted in the first round this year, and his big knock coming out of college, well, he does a little bit too much after the whistle. Just too much, right? He's just a little, he wants, pancaking guys is great during the play. But he led the FCS in penalties last year. And he just does too much. And it's translated great for him into this New Orleans Saints training camp where he had 3 fights this week. Back after back, he had 1 fight one day, 1 fight the next day, 1 fight the next day. And was kicked out of camp 2 days ago, or yesterday, for fighting again. So he's just a bully, and he's really cringy too. I sent Chris a clip earlier of Trevor Penning. saying that he wants to be able to legally, legally attack people or legally assault people, the guy in front of him. So weird. Jacob, I know you scouted a lot of players. I scouted Trevor Penning. Did you scout Trevor Penning?
Yeah.
Let's
Out of my 50-ish or so players, it was about there. Trevor Penning was my lowest rated player. He's not good, and I don't think he's going to be good. I laughed when the Saints took him because the Saints have done this the past couple of years in the first round. When it gets late, they kind of reach on a guy. I didn't like the pick at all. I'm not surprised to see him doing this stuff. I'm sure our editor can show some of the fights on screen. They're just ridiculous. And when guys' mentalities get that far, it's very hard to bring them back, especially when you have a rookie head coach. If that was Sean Payton there, I'd maybe feel a little bit different, but it's not.
Yeah, I mean, this was the issue. I mean, you even saw it at the Senior Bowl. I mean, he threw a guy right into Desmond Ridder with the knees, which could have been in a very, very bad. And it's not good. And he's huge. I mean, the dude's, I think he's 6'7", 6'6", 300 pounds. The dude's huge. So if he could get it under control, that's great. But he's just not. And he's just kind of been a dick at training camp. I mean, he's like doing stuff after the whistle that you just don't want. There's people like supporting him too. There's people in comments saying, I wish our linemen were like, no. I mean, he's a walking holding penalty. He's a walking penalty. And that's what he was in college. And it's just going to be worse in the NFL. And he's going to, and the edge rushers he faces this year is ridiculous. He faces Myles Garrett this year. He faces a lot of really good edge rushers. The only one I'm really worried about is he's going against Brian Burns this year. And Brian Burns is a tiny edge rusher. He's considerably tall. He's considerably small for an edge rusher. And he's going to do some stuff after the play. And I hope Brian Burns stays healthy, dude. Because he has to play him twice a year. And he's going to do some stuff after the whistle. I just hope Brian Burns stays healthy. Because this dude's going to try to injure people. He's trying to injure his own teammates.
He's going to get suspended.
He's going to get suspended. He's going to try to, he's trying to injure his own teammates in training camp. You can't do more. I think he did it without pads, too. You can't be doing that. And then finally, we'll go to Nico. How do you feel about Trevor Penning just being too aggressive?
I mean, he's gonna get kicked out of the league. Kicked out of the league. I mean, he'll be suspended. I mean, he's gonna get a lot of fines and stuff for that attitude. Hopefully, the Saints could just sit down and just talk to him. And yeah.
All right. So now we're gonna go to a Would You Rather edition of another Saints guy. Would you rather Jameis Winston edition? This should be interesting. People have different emotions on Jameis, right? Some people think he's bottom 10. Some people think he's really good. I think Chris thinks he's pretty good. Just saying. So let's talk about it. So Jameis Winston or Baker Mayfield? Everyone's gonna have to answer this. So Jameis Winston or Baker Mayfield? Nico.
Or Baker Mayfield. Give me Jameis Winston.
Jacob.
That's very tough because they both got injured last year. I feel like you have to give it to Jameis because he got to sit behind Drew Brees a year, and Baker never got that luxury. But
okay, Chris.
It's very close.
Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston. Yeah, come on now. All right, Jameis Winston or Matt Ryan? Nico.
Matt Ryan.
Jacob.
Right now, Matt Ryan.
Chris.
It's gonna be Jameis Winston, but right now, Matt Ryan.
I sort of agree with that.
I'm gonna take Jameis right now. All right, Jameis Winston or Ryan Tannehill? Nico. You already know my answer. I'm taking Tannehill. So Nico.
Jameis Winston.
Jacob.
Like Crisco, I want
Jacob.
Yeah.
Or not Jacob. Chris.
That's close. I'm gonna go Ryan Tannehill right now, but Jameis Winston this year.
Jacob.
Yeah, Winston's going to take him over. But I agree with Chris. Tannehill, the experience, being a vet, that gives him a little bit of the edge.
Jameis Winston or Mac Jones? Chris.
Jameis Winston.
Jacob.
Mac Jones.
Can we get a why?
Just a more accurate passer. He's younger. I mean, I'm looking at this as if I wanted him as my quarterback right now. I would want Mac Jones and Jameis, the torn ACL. You don't know how he's going to recover from that 100%. Last year, he was on a good pace, but that can all be ruined from one simple injury. So I'm not selling the farm on Jameis yet. So I'm going to go with, a guaranteed average quarterback, Mac Jones.
ACLs is not as detrimental as they used to be, so I'm still going to go Jameis.
That's fair, but.
Nico, Jameis or Mac?
Jameis Winston.
All right, let's go back. This could be interesting. Jameis or Carson Wentz? Nico.
shit.
Now I'm gonna go ahead and give mine. I took Jameis over Matt Ryan, so I'm gonna take Jameis over Carson Wentz.
Well, while Nico sits here and ponders, I'm gonna go. I
go.
think it's closer, but I think it's closer than people think. But I'm gonna go James Winston too.
Jacob,
Probably should have signed him.
Jameis.
Nico.
I'm gonna go Carson, bro. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go
Too
Carson.
inconsistent.
I have to
Yeah,
go
he's too
Carson.
inconsistent right now. Obviously, if we're saying 2017 Carson, then I'm taking Carson, but obviously it's not that. Okay, Jameis or Jalen Hurts?
Oh, that's easy.
Jameis, Nico, Jameis,
Yeah,
Jacob,
Jameis.
Chris. Don't even have to ask Chris. I don't. All right, Jameis. This one should be clear as well. Jameis or Jimmy G? Jameis. Nico.
Jameis.
Oh, Nico.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna take James. I'll take James.
Jacob, Jameis.
Yeah.
I should have said Jimmy G just to be different and give an argument, man. All right, whatever.
Dude, no. All right. Last topic we're going to talk about for today. So there's been a topic kind of been swirling around recently, and it's kind of slowed down a little bit, but I think everyone should have a different opinion. If Patrick Mahomes retired right now, is he a Hall of Famer? Yes or no?
Yes.
I'm gonna say yes because of the MVP and the Super Bowl ring.
Chris.
He's not gonna. I mean, dang, that is.
If he
that's
retired right now,
not gonna get in, but I think he should get in, but they wouldn't let him in. I mean, he don't have the.
He has two. Okay, so he has 2 Super Bowl appearances, a Super Bowl MVP. He has a
Super Bowl appearances don't mean anything. Super Bowl wins.
Okay, but bro. You can't sit here and say the Super Bowl appearances aren't anything bad. I mean, bro, then what's the case for Jim Kelly getting in if he's made 4 straight Super Bowls in?
Jim Kelly was a really good quarterback
Yeah, and
for a long time.
What's Mahomes?
Patrick Mahomes right now is not a Hall of Famer. Argue with a wall, dude. He doesn't have the stats to show it. Like you have to have really. You have to probably. He probably what like if he
Okay, are
plays
you saying that
10 more years in the league? If he plays 10 more years in the league and he gets top 10 passing touchdowns, top 10 passing yards, yes. But I mean, if you just take a guy who has what I have to check his passing stats, but he's not
Name
top 10
value,
in anything.
too.
Let me ask you guys a question. Do you guys think that Patrick Mahomes is going to have more of a similar career? And think about it when I say it. He's going to have obviously not similar, but he's going to kind of have like with the championships and all that. Do you think he's going to have a similar career to like Russell Wilson? Because Russell Wilson,
I think Drew Brees.
no.
That's it. Not too many Super
No,
Bowls.
because Drew Brees never made it back.
I mean, you could say You could say
Well, not
Rodgers
100%,
too. You could say Rodgers too. He only won 1 Super Bowl. At least Rodgers has like multiple MVPs. So, Mahomes just isn't he just doesn't have the stats. Like 1 Super Bowl, 1 MVP. That's great. Let's not act like 1 Super Bowl, 1 MVP is like all time great stuff.
And they not gonna let him. I think he deserves to be. I mean, just talent, all types of stuff. He definitely should be. I think
he easily changed the game of football.
And this gets thrown around a lot. So whenever somebody talks about Mahomes Hall of Fame, is Matthew Stafford a Hall of Famer right now?
Yes,
What do you say,
Yeah.
Chris?
he is, dude. He has the longevity stats. He just got the ring.
Well,
He
it
got-
depends.
I'd have to
because-
look more into it. I'll tell the truth. Like I'm
Okay,
not
so-
as into Matthew.
So,
Stafford.
Nico, so you say yes, right?
Yeah.
Is Phillip Rivers a Hall of Famer? Take away Super Bowl, and is Phillip Rivers in his prime a worse quarterback than Matthew Stafford? No. Phillip Rivers in his prime was a better quarterback than Matthew Stafford. All you have is Super Bowl. What Super Bowl that Matthew Stafford took, 13 years to get to?
I ain't gonna lie. You put Phillip Rivers on that Rams team in his prime, bro. He would
Even a few years out of his prime.
Dude, but
Probably
yeah,
not
but the thing is,
lasted
though,
like
Phillip
2 years ago
Rivers-
wins,
Phillip
but-
Rivers at one point had the best offense. That they were statistically the best offense in the league, and he still missed the playoffs with that.
Wait a minute. Justin Herbert had the second best offense in the league last year. He didn't make the playoffs. Is that not his fault?
No, but
The quarterback's job is to lead the
Rivers
best
had the
offense.
but hold
the
on,
quarterback's
Rivers had the
job-
number 1 defense and number 1 offense, and he could still not even
Dude,
make the
the
playoffs.
quarterback's
That's
job
matter.
is to lead the best offense possible. If his offense is the best possible and he doesn't make the playoffs, how is that on him? His job is to lead the offense. Is he going to go out there and play
Okay,
linebacker?
so the defense, and they had the best defense in the league that year too, and that's his fault too.
It's probably coaching's fault if we're being honest. If you're the best offense and best defense,
How is it coaching's fault if they're coaching them to have the best?
so you're saying
offense
it's
and the
Phillip
best
Rivers'
defense in
fault
the
when they had the
league?
1 defense and 1 offense and didn't make it?
Am I saying that it's Phillip Rivers' fault?
Yeah,
probably-
you say, that's what you're buying.
I'm
You're
not implying that it's Phillip Rivers' fault.
You are.
You can't have a number 1 offense and like a number 2 defense and not be in the playoffs. That just like statistically that doesn't line up. That doesn't seem right.
No, it doesn't make any sense. I agree with that. It doesn't make any sense. But I don't think it's on Philip. How is it on Philip?
I'm not sitting here saying that it's on Phillips.
I mean,
Well,
it's
you're
got
fine.
to be more coaching than Phillip Rivers, bro. But
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying if you had that good of an offense and defense and you're still failing, then that can't be on the quarterback who's just led the number 1 overall offense. So you're scoring points. Why are you turning off cameras? All right. Well, that's going to be our final topic. Our next video, we'll have Broad back. We will start division overview, start with the NFC North before the NFL season starts today. The preseason starts today, actually, in a few hours. Raiders, Jaguars. Drop your predictions down below in the comments, and we will see you guys next episode.
Dylan.